If someone comes to me with tinnitus or Meniere's disease, maybe fluctuating ear symptoms, I'm not going to immediately hand them a list of foods that they can't ever eat again. I usually start much more simply. I want to stabilize glucose and insulin levels and reduce overall inflammation. Why? Because the ear is one of the most metabolically dependent systems in the entire body. It requires a precise balance of fluids, electrolytes, and ATP and energy that allow the cochlea and vestibular system to function. So you need to have a diet that prioritizes that. Now, everyone's looking for the diet. And here's a news flash. There's not one specific diet that's appropriate. But again, I start with something that's going to normalize glucose and insulin levels. I'm not going to blame the tomatoes and the avocados and the histamine and the glutamate and the oxalates and 47 other foods. First, we want to clean up the metabolic environment. So here's what I would do. For several weeks, start doing this. Number one, remove or drastically reduce ultra-processed foods and sugary drinks. Your Starbucks, your Monster energy drinks, your Gatorade, get rid of it, okay? You're going to reduce refined carbohydrates and foods that create large glucose spikes. This is bread, pasta, rice, for some people, beans, right? Any of those kinds of things. Number three, stop grazing all day. No snacking, okay? If you're metabolically healthy, I want you to aim for no more than 3 calorie-containing meals per day, including snacks. So again, don't snack. And then you're going to gradually build in an appropriate overnight fasting window. And then we watch what happens to your tinnitus, what happens to the ear pressure, what happens to the fullness and the dizziness that you have in your ears, what happens to the craving, the itching in your ears, and overall inflammation. I don't just look at glucose. Okay, someone can have glucose or A1C levels that looks completely normal, or be told by their doctor that it's normal while their body is still dysregulated. So I look for optimal health levels. And so I will get into that in another post, but for the diet right now, we want to start to normalize those glucose and insulin spikes. Once you've done that for several weeks, if the tinnitus and the balance issues haven't resolved or changed much, then we can go a little bit deeper and maybe go on a low histamine diet or cutting out oxalates or things of that nature. But diet is not a one-size-fits-all, and I see people looking all the time for what is the right diet. I want this to be simple and sustainable for you so that you can be consistent and live your life while managing something such as tinnitus.